It was an honor, sir. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being the legend I always hoped you would be in person. Thank you for your time.
Well, you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mr. Keitel, this is seriously what an incredible honor. Seriously, thank you so much for your time. I've always wanted to speak with you, and I saw you from a distance at an award show one time, but didn't want to bother you. So I'm so glad that we finally get to chat. So seriously, thank you for your time.
So this is a time for you to bother me, you mean?
Yeah, now I got 5 minutes to bother you. Now I got a full 5 minutes.
All yours.
Beautiful. It's interesting. I want to start out by asking, when most actors play a profession, they reach out to someone in that profession to sort of ask questions and learn more about that world. And you have such an amazing history of playing characters in organized crime or maybe seedy men in unsavory worlds like this film and The Irishman and Taxi Driver and Reservoir Dogs. So who do you talk to for authenticity for parts like this to make sure that you really understand these worlds?
The authenticity was already in me, having grown up in Brooklyn and experienced a great deal just growing up. The authenticity was all around me. And I don't look at it upon it as being doing mob movies. I mean, there were all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, honorable, some not so honorable, to exist. And I was lucky to make my way into the theater by some superb people that I met, just having good fortune and being able to take these experiences and coming to the theater for what the theater was for, and meeting wonderful, great talents in the theater who helped me to understand we come to the theater to realize ourselves in many different roles, many different characters. What's that phrase I'm very fond of? The one differentiated in itself. It's a little piece of philosophy from Holderlin, German poet.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's an incredible idea. But one of the things that I took from this film is how much time can change how you look back at things. It gives you more perspective or makes you maybe even look at something differently. And I'm sort of curious, does that idea carry over in your career as an actor? Does that work with your past role? Has time at all changed how you've looked back at any of your own past films?
I think one better hope that they make some change in their lives as they grow from the experiences they've had, or else they're going to be really stuck. I've been particularly lucky to work with some of the great talents in the world, writers, directors, actors, costume designers, and on, both in the live theater and cinema. And I'm just blessed having to traverse that world, coming from the world I came from. This mixture of danger and joy and uncertainty and anxiety and wonderfulness. So the arts are a gift to explore one's being. And I love the whole thing. I hate some of the people that fired me, but
well, they made a mistake. I can tell you that.
No. But that's also one of the gifts of being in the arts, is learning to juggle these experiences that you have, and being disappointed, being fired, being disapproved of can be a really powerful learning experience, because it gives you the opportunity to take a look at yourself and say, what did I do? And how can I do it differently if I want to do it differently?
I love that. You mentioned having the opportunity to work with the greats. One of my favorite collaborations, really the movies of yours that I was raised on, of course, your collaborations with Quentin Tarantino. And I wanted to touch base on, because I know you were such a big part of Reservoir Dogs coming to fruition. And you took such a big gamble on this unknown kid named Quentin Tarantino. What was the moment on set when you guys were filming when you knew that gamble had paid off? When you looked at the scene you were in, you looked at how it was coming together, and you thought, yep, like I took a shot and that shot paid off?
Well, I knew at the minute Quentin Tarantino knocked on my door, a woman introduced me, a colleague of mine from the Actors Studio called me one day and said, Harvey, I have a script I think you're going to like. It was Reservoir Dogs. And then, to make a long story short, and I arranged a meeting with Quentin. He came to see me. I was shooting in LA at the time. And when he knocked on my door and I opened the door and he said, Mr. Keitel? I said, it's Keitel, but come in. So I sort of felt I was in the right place then.
And as we wrap up, I'm gonna geek out with one more Quentin Tarantino question, if you don't mind, just because Winston Wolfe has, to me, from Pulp Fiction, he's been someone who, even just in a few moments, I wanted to know who that guy was. You could make an entire movie about that guy. I have often wondered, what's his story before him showing up or answering the phone at that party and showing up at the door? What's his story after? Do you have a story as to who this guy is?
I'm going to strangle you. You are echoing my thoughts to give to Quentin. Please send
I'm seeing him next week.
You're kidding me.
No, you want to come?
You show him this question. You show him this question and tell him that I asked you to give him this information. It's exactly my thoughts.
So would you make a Mr. Wolfe movie today? Would you do a Mr. Wolfe spinoff right now?
Quentin, such a talented writer and a man that I adore. Of course, we don't even need the script. We can write it as we go along. But I want to say this one thing, but you're mentioning him. And that's that the movie he did Once Upon a Time in LA. What is it?
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Come on, Harvey. A certain part of the movie, the last third, he made for me one of the most powerful love stories I've ever seen. I still get the chills now as I'm talking about it. What he said about Karen Tate and that whole event, I think is one of the most beautiful, powerful love stories I have ever witnessed. So I just thought I'd throw that in because you mentioned Quentin, and you're the first person I've had a chance to express that to.
It was an honor, sir. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being the legend I always hoped you would be in person. Thank you for your time.
Well, you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.